because we're going to have a little abbreviated service. We're going to have prayer time about 7:30 or so, and I've got some announcements that I need to pass along to you as well. So, Brother Brian, why don't you come up and lead us in a chorus or a song? Stretch your legs just a minute, and that way we will get right into business here that we need to take care of. So let's listen to Brother Brian.
135. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to. Second verse as the last. Christ by highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of a virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see, hail the incarnate deity. With men to Jesus our Emmanuel here. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn.
All right, thank you, Brother Brian. I appreciate it. That'll be all the singing that we'll have for this evening. I wanted to pass along a couple of prayer requests here, if I may. I was visiting with Brother Mark Cotenbeetle today, and Miss Cotenbeetle had cataract surgery today, and I think she had finished up with the surgery and was in recovery, and was expected to get home later in the afternoon, but I had a good visit with Brother Mark and continue to pray for he and Miss Cotenbeetle and speedy recovery for her. Also, I was up at the hospital visiting Brother Bob Hasty. Pastor Bob Hasty had surgery today. He was supposed to go home from the hospital, and he's going to be out of work between 8 and 10 weeks. He was telling me there's an evangelist that he knows and is befriended that is going to come and help fill the pulpit for him in his absence. So if you would continue to pray for Brother Hasty, greatly appreciate that. Then I've been asking you to pray for Brother Michael Kalis as well. You know, Mike watches our live stream, and he sent a testimony into me just this past Sunday, and I thought, well, what a blessing. I'm going to probably read that testimony to you. I never thought about those that may be listening and maybe are a part of the church. I mean, if they want to send in a testimony, sure, that would be welcome. We would appreciate that and love to hear the testimony. You know, it'd be a wonderful thing. Now, I'm no author and not much of an editor. Brother Ken does plenty of that for me and helping. And if anything looks correct, then it's due to Brother Ken and his help and not mine, either that or the auto-correct in the Word document. But anyway, I thought, you know, we put cookbooks together for, churches, and we put the picture albums together for the churches, the directories. Wouldn't it be good to just have like a little book, Let the Redeemed of the Lord Say So, testimonials of the Grace Baptist Church family. And then just having that and just to look over, and it'd be something just for the church family. I mean, really, it would be something that, you could have and just be a part of your life, and knowing some of those intricate details are certainly helpful. I appreciate Brother Marvin Curtis had put his testimony on my computer. I read that Sunday afternoon when I got back to the office, and was blessed to be reminded. There are things you forget. There are things that, you just don't remember. And it's good to have your mind prodded, or at least, I remember that situation, that circumstance. And so I appreciate them. So you can still, keep them coming in. You can send them text or however you'd like to do that. I enjoy and will continue to read them in the services forthcoming. And so that'd be a blessing. So I said all that to say, Brother Michael Kalis, he needs our prayers. And, of course, Mickey Esterbrook. Any update on Mickey? I didn't speak with Amanda. Obviously, wasn't here Sunday. Anyone have an update? I think he went to Northbrook. I believe that was what he was supposed to do once he was released from the hospital. And then, of course, I had on here, pray for the youth rally, and then pray for Brother Woodward as he'll be bringing the messages on Saturday, and then he'll stay over for Sunday and will be with us for the Sunday services. And then, of course, the December schedule, it begins with the youth rally. And then, of course, our attention in the services will be toward the Acts on Wednesday night. And then we'll continue with our survey through the New Testament in our adult Sunday school class. But we'll also interject into the theme or the month of December, the idea of gifts and how that our gifts can be utilized. We are, we have received of the Lord so much. We are coming off the month of November with thanksgiving and gratitude, and certainly that is appropriate and needful. When we come into the month of December, and really it's a continuation of giving. Now we're thankful for what God has done, and that's expressed in November. And then we come to December, and it's almost like, okay, how can I give? How can I utilize what God has blessed me with, the gifts that God's bestowed upon me? And every one of us have some gifts. Okay, we have a gift, and the Bible talks about that, and we'll look at some of those gifts. And we'll rehearse some of those things. And the thing that I really want to point out in December is, pinpointing or looking at our gift, our spiritual gift, and then finding a way to apply that, put it into practice. Knowledge without any application, all it does is create pride and puffeth up. But when you take the knowledge, or you take a gift and you utilize it, you put it or incorporate it, then it becomes effective. And so we want to look at that. Also, it was brought to my attention. We had a Tuesday service prior to Thanksgiving, and I really favor the Christmas Eve service at church. I really do. Wednesday is Christmas Eve, and it just seems like it would be inappropriate to move, from that. I would rather have a Tuesday service if it was the 24th, you know what I mean? Or if it was Thursday and that was the 20th, I'd go. It's like I think that it would be honoring to the Lord to be present. And I know that it's not the birthday of the Lord, okay? I know that. The whole Christmas thing, the 24th, the 25th, I know that. I know where it comes from in the origination. But the very idea that we take time to recognize, whether it's the 25th of December or the 25th of June. It doesn't. The point is, we're remembering, we're reflecting back, and we're accounting for what Jesus has done. It's like the nativity scene. I mean, I know the wise men weren't there. Okay, I know that, but you know, it's still a beautiful setting or a beautiful scene when you consider, you know, that it is about the focal point, Jesus Christ. That's what it's about. So I say all that to say this: 6 o'clock on that Wednesday service, and then I'm scheduling watch night service. It also is on Wednesday. We're going to begin at 8 and go 8 to 9 will be the regular part of the service. And then afterwards, I'm recommending a potluck, and then coming back in, having some Bible trivia, some type of activities of games. We play categories at our house. It's a tradition. We have a lot of fun with it. I mean, I'm telling you, it gets hilarious. And, you know, the church Pictionary is also another good one, where you get teams and you try to do something. And we'll have a little bit of fun like that. And then a minute to win it. I'll get with Brother JJ on some of those things. And then what I'd also like to do is have us hear some voices from yesteryear. Not real lengthy and not a full-length service, but to hear some old preachers that we used to hear, and maybe, you know, hear their voice, and something related, if I can find it, related to this time of year. You know, I'd love to hear you know, Dr. Roloff or Brother Robertson or Jack Hiles or somebody around Christmas time, just so we could hear their voice, and you could have that interjected. I mean, those messages still have power. I mean, really, they still have power on them. And so those are some things. Watch night is kind of a potpourri of things. I mean, it can be anything. And so I hope that you'll plan on being here for that as we look forward to the next year. We'll unfold the vision for what the Lord has for us in 2026. I'm looking forward to that. Now, I'd passed out in teachers' meeting time, if you weren't here, some truth tips and tickles, and it really just kind of reiterates some of the things that I've already said. The theme or idea in December is glorifying the Savior. And one of the ways you can show your spirit, if you'd like to do such a thing, is color. You know, wear the Christmas colors. There's, what are they? Green and red and gold. All right. I was kidding. For some of you who weren't here, I was thinking about getting me a gold suit. Like Brother Mike's got that purple one, and Brother Don's got that yellow one that he had, or gold. All right. I may have to get into the Christmas spirit that way. But one of the things, you want to put joy to the world. The Lord is come. And we ought not be just joyful for the season. It ought to be second nature to us. So we could dovetail right into, in all things give thanks, or Thanksgiving. Then we can go right into this season of joy and making the most of it. Now, to be honest, it's a difficult time. It's a time of the year where people's emotions are kind of like a roller coaster. They're up and down. You know, some people have fond memories of Christmas and the seasons and the holidays, and other folks really struggle with it. And I would caution you to be considerate of that, and be thoughtful, of others as well this season. All right, I tell you what, I'm only going to take just a few minutes, and I'm going to have you turn over to 1 Samuel chapter number 17, if you will. 1 Samuel 17. I'm only going to take a few minutes, and then we're going to have a prayer meeting, and the prayer meeting is going to focus in on the youth rally. We want to pray for the young folks coming. Now, we can have a goal of however many, but you know what? What's most important is those that come, we want to be a blessing. I don't care if it's 100 or 1,000, okay? And by the way, it takes as just much effort to do for 10 as it does 1,000, okay? So make sure that, you're praying about that, and praying for Brother Woodward, and praying for the weather to cooperate with what we've got planned, and we'll try to keep those things addressed as best we can, all right? Now, Brother JJ, I just have a word. Do you have something that you want to go with? Okay, all right, you sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because, I'm going off script a little bit, all right? Okay, you're good? All right. Well, here's the thought. 1 Samuel chapter 17. We know, we're all familiar with the account here. It's David and Goliath. And it is a theme that has just resonated through the generations. We all like when the underdog prevails, over, the bully or over the champion. But the thing that strikes me in this account is not just the victory, which, by the way, was tremendous and great, and it's legendary. We know that. But there's something that, King Saul says that I think all of us need to be reminded of, especially when it comes to youth. Okay? Now, David in verse 29, has just inquired about what would happen to the man, or what would happen to the man, or would the man receive who defeats this giant, and it's rehearsed, and then he's rehearsing, why someone is not stepping forward, and verse number 29, you see that expression that's been the title of many messages, and David said, "What have I done?" As he turns to his brother, "Is there not a cause?" And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. All right, so he made such a to-do over, what will become of, the man that defeats the giant, or who is this giant, and what's this all about, and it's continually rehearsed, and David, is apparently voicing the fact that he's certainly willing to go to fight this giant if no one else is. And his brother criticizes him. But this thing continues to the point that it made its way to the top. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I receive text messages from Donald Trump every day. I'm invited to the White House. I've been invited to Mar-a-Lago. I'm on the list of advisors. Do you get those same texts? All right, yeah. And then you know what it is. It's not him, but it's somebody that's, raising funds, and they catch you with this little, enticer enough to get you to, click, and then they want to say, well, you donate $25 or $100 or what have you. Okay. I don't know that there's anything that I could ever do, a noise enough that I could make to where I would ever get the attention of the president. You follow me? But here's David. He was in such a spirit, and it was such a situation there, that he rehearsed this to the point that it got back to King Saul. Now, I'll have to tell on myself, I don't know the name of the film, the movie, the show, whatever it was. I think it was the Household of David or something like that. And I'd seen how they depicted the fight between David and Goliath. And I have to say, I was impressed with the symmetry of that. It was pretty impressive. Now, I have my doubts on how it all came about, but man, it was impressive, especially when you see the size of Goliath and David and the battle, and it had me intrigued. I mean, I was just there, man. I was just there. But here's what I want you to see. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine." You think that guy had some confidence? You think he knew something that the others didn't know? I think so. Okay. And Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he of man of war from his youth." And the point is, he said, "Thou art but a youth." You know, the Bible says, "Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believer in word and conversation, in charity and spirit and faith and purity." Right? Here you had a youth that was stepping up. You had a youth that was stepping forward. So much so that the king looked at him and said, "You can't go. You're a youth." He was looking down. He had mischaracterized what this young man was capable of doing. Sometimes we do that. That's exactly what you were trying to say or were saying earlier. You know, you can look at these children that come in on the buses, or you can look at them as raw material, and it can be pretty rough. And you might say to yourself, "What can you do? You're but a youth. What can you do? You're but a youth. You can't support the work. What reason should we listen to you? Because you are a youth." See, people can be that way. But you know the interesting thing? That young man could stand before the king Saul and say, "Let no man's heart fail him. I'll go." Because you know what? David spent time with God. David knew God. David had already written some sweet psalms and songs, and David had developed a walk with God. And David had also seen how the Lord could use him when he slew the lion and the bear. And I don't believe that David was going before Saul and the people, cocky. He wasn't Shadur Sanders, okay? That was not him. But I do believe that he had the confidence to be able to stand before the king because of the relationship that he had developed with the Lord and what God had proven to him and what he could do with a youth that was surrendered to the Lord. Now, hey, Goliath was a youth. He was a soldier from his youth as well. Here you got two youths. One who trained as a soldier, the other trained as a servant of the Lord. And at the end of the day, who prevailed? It was the servant of the Lord. On one hand, Goliath had every opportunity, every privilege. He had every promotion that one could obtain. But at the end of the day, the little youth that was looked down upon by his brother and his countrymen and even his king was able to prevail over this giant. And so why youth conference? Why youth rally? Because we want to put into some of these young people the dream and the hope and the anticipation that though a youth, they can be mightily used of the Lord. And that's what it's all about. It's investing in the next generation. Hey, thank God for a brother JJ. Thank God for a brother Joe. Thank God for a brother Stephen. And we could go on and on and on. You know what they all have in common? They came here in their youth. So let's put our best foot forward. Let's get behind what's going on. And I know they may get on your nerves and irritate you at times, but hey, go back and remember what kind of young person you were for a minute. Okay? We forget. Well, I tell you what I'd do if I... No, you'd have been the worst one. We'd have kicked you out a long time ago, all right? But that's it. Okay, so we're going to pray. We're going to dismiss the men back to the back. Ladies, you stay here. You can just pair up. You can pray, however you want to do that. But just pray and spend some time with the Lord. Brother Brian, we'll come back for choir practice, okay? A little bit before 8, we'll be back, okay? All right. So, men, if you will be dismissed to the back. Is that good, Brother Jay? Back to the back. To the.
And also, Ruth Ann, for the ladies, has a list of the churches.
Okay. If you'll read those off, that would be great. And then, Brother JJ, if you can do the same in the back, that would be great as well. All right. Let's go to prayer.